My name is Kanika Davis, and I'm a National Outreach Specialist with the FSA Forum Service Agency. I bring you greetings today on behalf of our Administrator, Zach Ducheneau, as well as the FSA Director, Linda Cronin. We welcome you today to the Applying to Become an FSA Intermediary for the Heirs Property Relending Program. We want you all to be aware that today is the second training that we've held on how to apply to become a FSA intermediary, and we thought that it was necessary to have a refresher training today with the recent announcement of the first 3 relenders that we have for the Heirs Property Relending Program. Again, my name is Kanika Davis, and our presenter today will be MD Mutalab, and he is a FSA Senior Loan Officer. And he will be talking a lot about the different processes for intermediaries to apply for the FSA Heirs Property Relending Program. Some housekeeping notes: we want you all to be aware that this recording is being recorded, and it will be made available along with a copy of the presentation slides, as well as the transcription. If for some reason you cannot hear your audio, please be aware that there is a phone bridge that is available that you can call into. Questions should be submitted through the chat box. We're going to do our best to answer all questions that come in today. Any questions that are not covered in the presentation will be covered in a later release FAQ document that we will send out shortly after this presentation. So, our target audience for today. We want to be sure that you are aware that while we do have a lot of different heirs property resources that are out there, because this is the Applying to Become an FSA Intermediary for the Heirs Property Relending Program, our target audience are those eligible intermediary lenders, and you'll see some of the requirements that are there. So again, these types of entities, they are eligible to serve as a relender for this program. They're certified as a community development financial institution. So again, we just want to be clear on who our target audience is again. And we have a note down here that anyone that's interested should ensure that all eligibility requirements are met prior to you applying for this program. Again, as I mentioned early on during our welcome, this is the second of a webinar that we have recorded. We have here available with the link where you can find the slides that go with the recording that was made, the webinar that was made last year during September the 15th. You'll find there the PowerPoint slides that will go into a lot more greater detail about the application process, the requirements, some documents that you need to make sure that you have available. Today's webinar, because it is a refresher, it kind of will be more of a high level refresher that just kind of hits on some of the key takeaways and some frequently asked questions that we've kind of received since the webinar that we did last year. So again, if you're looking for more details, please find the presentation slides that are located at this website. If after sitting in on this webinar today and reading through those slides that are available from the presentation last year, if you still have questions, we will have contact information at the end of this presentation where you can submit those questions, pending again that those questions have not been answered during this presentation. So again, we thank you for joining us today. We're really excited that you are interested in applying to become an intermediary for this program. And at this time, I'm going to hand it over to MD, and MD will walk you through some of those high-level points for applying to become an intermediary with the Heirs Property Relending Program. Thank you, MD.
Welcome everyone to today's presentations. And I will provide some information particularly helpful to the intermediary lenders who can use this information to be an applicant and to be an intermediary lenders. I just want to make sure one thing, many of the times the USDA use intermediary or the intermediary lenders the same way. So there is no differences between the intermediary or intermediary lenders. First of all, I just want to highlight a few things about the heirs property, how the heirs property been created, and what type of problem that create. Heirs property is a land that been passed down to the subsequent generation via the succession that might have or might not have a living will. So what happened after the person who owned the land been deceased, that create multiple owners at a time. Few of the states have all their names as the landowner, and few of them do not have a succession plan and do not have any documentations, but altogether, all the heirs of that deceased persons own that land. So what happened, the land value became decreased because there is no clear title for that particular land, and that passed through the generations with the problem. So we are trying to help the ultimate recipients through the intermediary lenders to reduce those issues. Just want to mention how this program been created. This program particularly been created through the 2018 Farm Bill, and I just have mentioned the section is 5104, and Congress have authorized or provide authority to FSA particularly, and they authorize $10 million per year from year 2018 to 2023. And there was a particular provisions in that program to have rollover funds. So if we couldn't use the fund in one fiscal year or financial year, the fund is automatically transferred to the next fiscal year, and we will be able to use all funds together. I just want to mention as well, again, this particular program is completely separate from the American Rescue Plan, where there is a provision for Heirs Property 2, but this relending program is completely separate from that portion of the American Rescue Plan. The final rule for this Heirs Property Program been published in August 9, 2021, and there is a link to that Federal Register document. If you click on that link, you can go directly to that particular PDF document, and you can look through the program regulations in detail. And initially, when the program started, there was a specific time period for application, and that window been gone, and we already select multiple intermediary lenders through that process. But as we have funding now, we started the new open application period on August 30th, and this open period will be indefinitely there unless there is another Federal Register publication provide otherwise information. There is only two ways this program helped the ultimate recipients. The first, the ultimate recipients can get a loan which can provide or assist heirs with the undivided ownership interest with the legal services. And all the applicant and all the recipients of these loans, they must have to create a succession plan to make sure the problems they're having currently, the same problem cannot continue afterward, after the loan been received. This is a presentation and pathway how the program works. First of all, the intermediaries apply for direct loan from FSA or USDA FSA. USDA, based on their application merit, USDA approves that loan and send the money to the intermediary lenders. The intermediary lenders then create the loan for the ultimate recipients to provide them legal services, to help them buy out and consolidate their land and resolve their title issues. And they collect the payment or the loan payment from the ultimate recipients. And on an annual basis, intermediary will pay back the loan to the USDA. That's how the cycle works. And at the end, the ultimate recipients will receive the legal title of the land, which will provide them access to many other USDA programs and also provide them better value of their property. There is some specific definition, and those definitions is included in our Federal Register document as well. What do we mean by heirs property? What do we mean by intermediary? What is succession plan, and what is ultimate recipients? I just want to mention that there is many other definitions is available in our CFR. If you are interested in, you can go there to see the USDA definition. What do you mean by those words? I just want to mention few. The first one is the heirs property means a farm that is jointly held in tenancy in common by multiple heirs who acquire title from a relative, whether living or deceased. The intermediary, I just mentioned, want to mention again, intermediary or intermediary lenders, we use it as the same. Intermediary means the entity requesting, receiving heirs property relending loan funds to establish a revolving loan fund and to relend the fund to the ultimate recipients. Succession plan, in general, a plan addresses the continuation of the farm, which may include specific intra-family succession agreements or strategies to address business assets, transfer planning to create opportunities for families and ranches. The ultimate recipients is an entity or individual that receives the loan from the intermediary lenders to resolve their heir property issues. So just want to mention a few things about the eligibility requirements and who are eligible lenders. And there is specific terms and ideas been incorporated by the statute or by the Congress for USDA to consider, and we follow the strict regulations what been decided for USDA to follow. First of all, just want to mention the eligible entity type for this program is only 3 specific categories. One is the nonprofit organizations, credit unions, or community development organizations. And they must have to be CDFI certified. So the organizations could be credit union, but if they do not have a certification for CDFI or community development organizations, or certified as a community development organizations, they will not be eligible to apply. So they have to be CDFI organizations, and the member of that organizations must have to be US citizen, and they also have to have experience working with the socially disadvantaged borrowers or with the beginning farmer borrowers. And for the ultimate recipients or the loan, the intermediary is going to be made towards the ultimate recipients. They have to be individual, and the person or the persons who will receive the loan, they must have to be related by blood or marriage. And after the loan being closed, they must have to create a succession plan. We are going to discuss in the slides afterward how the loan application and the approval process works. So only 2 things is here. First, for the intermediary lenders, USDA make direct loans to the eligible intermediaries, and intermediaries will make direct loan to the ultimate recipients. And the ultimate recipients, they can assist. The ultimate recipients will clear their title who have the issues with the undivided ownership interest, they can pay for the fees associated with the succession plan, and they can consolidate fractional interested or buy out from the other heirs. Those are the only uses for the funds, which could be through the intermediaries from USDA. The intermediaries who will apply to USDA, maximum loan amount for the intermediaries is 5 million. The interest rate is 1% fixed, and the loan could be made up to 30 years. I just want to mention one thing. There is a deferral period been offered as well to the intermediaries if they are interested to have one. For the first 3 years, they could defer the interest only payments, and rest of the years, so 27 years, could be scheduled payment and interest all together. The ultimate recipients could receive a loan up to 600,000. So intermediary could make a loan to the ultimate recipients. Maximum size could be 600,000. The interest rate will be set by the intermediary, so USDA do not have any control. That interest rate should cover the administrative and other costs for the intermediary lender. And the loan for the ultimate recipients is also maximum length could be 30 years. And the application process, how the intermediary could apply. There is the application form, which is available in farmers.gov in Heirs Property page. The form number is FSA 2637. The intermediary have to fill out these forms and have to provide 3 years of audited financial statement or the income tax record, including a balance sheet. And they have to provide and submit the original applications with the supporting documents to USDA, which will include the relending plan, the copy of the CDFI certification, and they have to provide or comply with the civil right forms or the requirement USDA has set. The documentations have to provide the ability for the organization to run a program like Heirs Property Relending Program. And if the organization use any attorney, they have to disclose the information of the name and address and other information of the attorney or the third-party organization who helped them to prepare this application package. As I mentioned in the previous slide, the intermediary have to provide a relending plan, and that relending plan have to provide some specific information in that particular relending plan, which will include the service area, which service area they will provide their services. And if they ask for any specific fees from the ultimate recipients for applications, they have to provide that information. And if they create any specific eligibility criteria for the ultimate recipients, they have to provide that information to USDA. And what will be the authorized loan purpose for their program or the intermediaries program towards the ultimate recipients, they have to provide that information to USDA. If there is any loan limitations, that information should be included in that relending plan, and loan underwriting method as well. How they're gonna underwrite the loan, how the loan gonna be secured, how the underwriting quality will be maintained. Those should be described in detail in the relending plan. As I mentioned in the previous slide, that relending plan also has to include the loan rate, which will be charged to the ultimate recipients, and the terms of the loan, the security requirements, like what type of security the ultimate recipients have to provide to get a loan from the intermediaries, how the intermediary will disperse the loan to the ultimate recipients, and there is a specific requirement in our Heirs Property Relending Program, CFR, to maintain the environmental issues, how the intermediary will process the environmental issues, or if there is an environmental issue involved with the particular piece of land, how the process will take place inside their organization. They have to provide that information to us. And the process of the internal control or how they review the ultimate recipient applications, they have to provide information related to that. They have to provide a description of the internal control or the internal audit of the loan files on the intermediaries level, and how they're going to monitor those loans which already been made. And they have to provide information that how they will set or what will be the percentage of the bad debt provisions they will keep in their organizations for this program particularly. And the requirement for, I just want to mention, there is only a lot of things being included: hazard insurance, life insurance, flood insurance, and fidelity bond. For the intermediaries, mainly fidelity bond is required. Hazard insurance is not applicable for intermediaries. Those are basically for ultimate recipients. But the fidelity bond coverage is required for intermediary lenders. Right now, there is no scarcity of funds, but if there is one in future, suppose we have only few dollar left, we can make only one or two loans, but we have multiple applicants. At that time, there is a provision being made, particularly through the Congress, that who will get the priority to get the loan, and the priority will be given to the organizations who have 10 or more years of experience to work with the socially disadvantaged farmers. And if the applicant is located in a state where they already adopted the Uniform Partition of Heirs Property Act, and currently the states who already accepted the Uniform Partition of Heirs Property Act are Alabama, Arkansas, California, Connecticut, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Iowa, Illinois, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nevada, New Mexico, New York, Rhode Island, Texas, South Carolina, Virginia, and Virgin Islands. So if we have an applicant who have 10 more years of experience with working with the socially disadvantaged farmers, and if they apply from those particular states which is listed here, they will get a priority from compared to the other applicants as the intermediary lenders if there is any scarcity of fund. But if we have available funds, the priority doesn't have any merit at that point. There is a requirement according to our CFR to provide demographic data from the ultimate recipients. So the intermediaries have to comply with the requirement to collect demographic data from the ultimate recipients, but that request for the ultimate recipients is going to be voluntary. So intermediary will request voluntarily to provide the demographic data to the ultimate recipients. And if they provide those data, the intermediary have to keep those data in their record. And whenever FSA requests that information for that voluntary data, the intermediaries have to provide those data to FSA, and mainly those type of data has been used for purpose of research and enhancement for the program. There is a specific environmental compliances process, and there is a specific process to address with the environmental issues as well. We're going to see a little bit in detail. So the CFR have a specific provision for complying with the NEPA requirement, and all the loan the intermediary make to the ultimate recipients, they have to bound by those regulations, and they have to provide detailed information how they will keep those compliances record and provide those information to USDA when needed. And the relending plan have to include those information in detail, the process the organizations will maintain to record and comply with the environmental requirements for the USDA loans. So any interested eligible intermediary lenders who are interested to apply, and there is a particular link is added with these presentations. They can click on that link to see the application forms. And as I mentioned, not only application forms, there were a few other piece of documents the intermediary has to provide with the application form, and all those supporting document and applications that could be emailed to sm.fpac.fsa.wdc.hprp@usda.gov, and this is a common email address. If all those supporting document and application been sent, there will be a email back to the particular intermediary applicant to inform that the application been received. And when the application get approved as well, the same email going to be used to provide back information to the intermediary lenders. And if we need any additional information and others, we will communicate with the intermediary lenders as well using the same email. And if you need any information, how to apply or what kind of documentations you need to provide to apply, you can also email at the same email address at sm.fpac.wdc.hprp@usda.gov. We have multiple people added to that group, and if we receive any questions or the applications, we will provide feedback to the intermediaries accordingly. We have, on the first set of applications we have received based on the application merits and evaluations, we already approved 3 applications. The first one is the Cherokee Nation Economic Development Trust Authority. They've been one of the intermediaries who will mainly serve in the Oklahoma Cherokee Nation's jurisdiction, and they are one of the selected intermediaries in the first round of application. We have a nationwide intermediary. The name of the intermediary is Akiptan Incorporation, and they are also a tribal organization, but they are willing to make loans nationwide. And we also have Shared Capital Cooperative. They are located in Minnesota, and they also will provide loan, particularly in 7 southern states. And they are also partnering with different organizations, particularly cooperative Federation of Southern Cooperatives. They are going to work together to provide loan to the ultimate recipients in 7 southern states. And that's it from my side, and I will hand it over to Kanika, and she will provide some other information related to the Heirs Property Relending Program.
You've heard the high-level takeaways for the application process, and if you are here with interest, then you understand the issues that heirs have, and also understand that this Heirs Property Relending Program is a way for the Foreign Service Agency to assist heirs with resolving their land issues, clearing their deeds, and allowing them access to those form numbers that are needed in order to put their land to agricultural uses. So again, we thank you for joining us today and having taken this time here to kind of hear more about the application process. Along with some of the information that MD shared, we do have some technical assistance that we have made available. This technical assistance is provided on two different sides. We have technical assistance that is available to heirs. The cooperative agreement holder for this technical assistance is the Federation of Southern Cooperative. We have with them a 5-year Heirs Property Relending Program outreach and technical assistance agreement. So that means for the next 5 years, they will be able to not only assist heirs, but you'll see on the next slide, they'll also be able to assist interested as well as current CDFIs who have applied to become eligible relenders for the Heirs Property Relending Program. So under this technical assistance agreement for heirs, we have assistance with the loan application readiness, assistance with helping them to understand the loan process, offering some estate planning assistance, as well as assisting them with doing attorney referrals. We know that this assistance was a big part of the Heirs Property Relending Program, just because, again, as MD stated during his presentation, the ultimate end of this is to have that succession plan and that clear deed and title to their land. So in order to do that, we do know that that there are some legal steps that need to take place as far as, working with attorneys. So we have partnered again with the Federation of Southern Cooperatives in order to provide some of this technical assistance. We'll also know outside of this that there is some other technical assistance that is available within some of the states that it's in way of working with the Policy Center there at Alcorn. So outside of just this targeted Heirs Property Relending Program technical assistance agreement, there are other resources that are there and available. You'll see at the end of this presentation that we do have contact information that is available for those newly announced relenders that MD touched on, those three, as well as the contact information for the Federation of Southern Cooperatives. And we do have our state outreach coordinators information that will also be made available, so that if you have additional questions about how you being an interested lender, if you apply to this program, what are some avenues of technical assistance that you can provide, that information will be there as well. So, and again, as mentioned on the last slide, there is some technical assistance that is available to those interested CDFIs, as well as those CDFIs that will become relenders in the Heirs Property Relending Program. So some of the assistance that will be available to them is helping to identify applicants that are ready, so that have been through the process, have done some of those steps, and are ready to apply. They also will assist with some of the preparations for heirs to apply. So say if you have an applicant that has come to you that's interested in applying with a loan with your organization, pending that you become an eligible lender, that the Federation of Southern Cooperatives can assist those heirs with making sure that they are ready to not only fill out an application, but ready to go through the entire cycle, as far as making sure that they've identified all the heirs that are tied to the property and things of those natures. They also are going to provide technical assistance as it relates to assisting CDFIs with pointers on providing technical assistance during all phases of the applicant and borrow loan process. As you'll see, while this technical assistance is available to CDFIs, there are a number of CDFIs, specifically some of the ones that we recently had come on board as relenders. They offer their own technical assistance in-house. So if you are one of those eligible relenders who are selected to become a relender with the Heirs Property Relending Program, and if you do not need this technical assistance, you definitely don't have to, partake in it. However, if you are coming on board and you would be open, or if you're looking to come on board and you would be open to receiving some of this technical assistance, again, FSA just wanted to make sure that we had these services available in order to kind of stretch the reach that we have to those organizations and support them as they look to help our heirs to become those heirs as they look to figure out which avenue works best for them. So by working with this Heirs Property Relending Program, assisting them with making sure that they understand those different, the loan processes, and helping them to take that land from being heirs property to where there is clear title and there is a succession plan in place. Additionally, many of you might be aware that with our recent relenders announcement that one of our relenders partnered with the organization. I'm sure that even during MD's presentation, you all heard that he mentioned one of those CDFIs there that was in partnership with another organization. And we just want to note that while FSA does not have anything to do with how these partnerships come about, we do want to note that they are permitted to apply in that fashion, pending that all application requirements are still met. So again, we want to note that the same type of technical assistance that was previously spoken about is available for these type of applicants as well, pending is needed. However, again, the technical assistance provided is the standard assistance that is available to all eligible CDFIs, and is not specific to questions and or any assistance that might be needed around these type of unique partnerships. So again, we don't limit anyone's ability to partner or work with a partner, but if you do take the partnership route, you have to make sure that you still meet all the eligibility requirements for the Heirs Property Relending Program in order to be one of those eligible relenders. So again, as we just are getting ready to wrap this up, we thank you again for joining us today. We have some things that, again, we just want to touch on. So if you are eligible to apply to become a relender, please do so. If you are not, but your organization here and you are aware of a CDFI that you might want to approach about doing a partnership, please, share this information with them, these different webinars that are available. Because again, this program is to assist those heirs. So the more organizations that we can reach in order to provide this loan assistance through this Heirs Property Relending Program within their certified CDFI and organizations, the more that we're able to assist the heirs that are across the United States to resolve those heirs property issues. So again, if you have questions, we do have information here where you can reach our state outreach coordinators. We do have additional resources that are available in terms of a toolkit. And within that toolkit, we have information on the farmers.gov/heirs/relending page. And within that page, you will find additional program information, related news releases, again, those previous educational webinars. We have those helpful links to different fact sheets and things of that nature. And again, we do have another stakeholders toolkit that will be made available and will be updated to include this presentation today as well. So as we briefly touched on, here is the information for those current relenders, those first three that we announced, as well as the information for the Federation of Southern Cooperatives, which is not only a partner with Shared Capital, but also has the cooperative agreement with the Farm Service Agency to provide that technical assistance for heirs and those CDFIs. So this information on this slide will be made available again with this presentation. So as we get ready now to hit on our last slide, we just want you to know that we are here to help. FSA understands that heirs property is an issue that has been long going on. And while FSA is doing all that we can in order to help heirs take that land to clear title, we all have to partner in this together. So that's why with this Heirs Property Relending Program, FSA has decided to go outside of the box to have those intermediary lenders that can provide those funds, because again, as MD stated during his presentation, we understand that you all have experience in this area and that some heirs will feel a lot more comfortable working directly with you all. But ultimately, FSA is just looking to assist those heirs with clearing up those issues on their land so that they can go from having heirs property to clear land and having a succession plan in place so it does not become heirs property again. So we thank you all for joining our webinar today to hear this wealth of information that was shared. If you have any questions, you see the email information here for MD, who provided the presentation as the Farm Loan Officer today with the Heirs Property Relending Program. Also on his support staff is his branch chief, Renetta Walker-Cohen, who is there within the Direct Loans and Funds Management branch. So we have the 2 different emails that are there. If you want to submit any questions, again, we know that we have actively been trying to answer all questions that have come through the chat today. But if you have some additional questions after reading through this information again and looking through the slides that were available for the previous webinar that was hosted last year, feel free to send that information to these emails here, and we will be back in contact with you to answer those questions. So again, on behalf of MD and myself, as well as our administrator and our directors, we thank you for joining us today for this webinar, and we look forward to having you partner with us as we look to assist heirs with resolving their land issues. Thank you so much, and this will be the conclusion of our webinar.